She didn't give me...
Hi, sorry I missed your call. I'll give you a call back as soon as I possibly can. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hi Barbara, this is Trish. I am trying to call you on FaceTime with my husband Devin. I know it's been a few days since we talked, but we had set up today at around 3 p.m. to have the interview about the Ancestry DNA match, and I was just wondering if you're still available. You can call me back at this number. It's Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I had planned to show the interview with Vlad's cousin. You remember the one he matched to surprisingly because his dad wasn't aware he had a half-sister, if she really is his half-sister. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen today. I found out that she actually had planned to do the interview, but she went home tired from church, ended up going to sleep, and we weren't able to interview her. I promise you we're going to reschedule that, so be on the lookout for that. I do have something very interesting though to share with you today. My oldest daughter, who is an adult, actually received her Ancestry DNA results back today. So I'm going to be sharing those results with you, and I am also going to share my grandmother's results as well, because I want to show where my grandmother did show some Native American ancestry, but I did not inherit any of that. So let's get started with that. I know that I've been presenting a lot of our ancestry information, and I've been presenting my line as well as Vlad's line, so it can be confusing. So I want to clarify a few things so that our different lines won't be confused with one another. Okay, so with Vlad, his mom came from the Bahamas. I know there was some confusion about whether or not my Scottish and Irish ancestry came from the Bahamas, but no, I'm not from the Bahamas or any of the Caribbean islands. My Scottish and Irish ancestry did not come from any of the Caribbean locations. His mom is from the Bahamas, and Vlad does have about 5% Irish ancestry. Okay, the other thing is Vlad is the one with the Eastern European ancestry with 26%, and we are very aware that his ancestry did not come from slavery. In fact, his ancestry would have come from, we think, his grandfather. All right, so Vlad's dad is the one who is very light looking, almost white, and he had the red hair. He's older now. He's an elderly man. So obviously his hair is no longer red, it's white. Now, the man the family was told was Vlad's grandfather may not actually be the grandfather. They were always told that the grandfather was black, and they actually have a picture of him. He is dark-skinned, and the grandmother was actually dark-skinned as well. And as you know, if you have been following the story, her two sons are very light-skinned. So that is where the questions originally started, and that's why the ancestry journey began. And also, just to clarify, Vlad's father and Vlad's uncle are not interested in taking the ancestry test, and that is why we're having to test other people. So we believe the grandfather may be full Eastern European. We are on the search for the real grandfather, and that is why also we wanted to interview Barbara. Barbara is the one who matched to Vlad, and it appears that she is Vlad's half aunt. Based upon the CMs between Vlad and Barbara, we believe that Barbara is Vlad's half aunt, which would mean that she is his dad's half-sister. Barbara shows 49% Eastern European ancestry, but no one in the family knows Barbara, and Barbara doesn't know anyone in Vlad's family. Barbara was also told a different man was her father, so that even brings a greater mystery. I hope that helps clarify things. I also want to give you a quick rundown about my ancestry, just so we can keep the two lines free from any confusion. Alright, and here's a quick summary of my ancestry, just so that we clarify everything and there's no confusion. My line comes from Virginia, the Carolinas, and the Midwest. I am 75% African and 25% European. Vlad is 59% African and 41% European, whereas Vlad's closest European ancestor was from the 1950s. My closest direct European ancestor was from 4 to 6 generations ago during slavery. I do have a well-developed family tree, and many of my relatives have also taken the DNA test. The majority of my European ancestry is Scottish and Irish, whereas Vlad has a small percentage of that, and most of his European ancestry comes from Eastern Europe or Russia. Also, Vlad and I both carry the red hair gene. I hope that helps clarify everything. If you do have additional questions, go ahead and drop those in the comments and we would be happy to answer those for you. I want to give you a breakdown of our blended family so that you'll have an idea of why certain people's Ancestry DNA results look different from other family members. So we are a blended family. We have a total of 6 children between us, Vlad and I do. We each had 2 children from previous relationships before we got married to each other. We have 2 biological children together. One has red hair, Karis, and one has black hair, Peyton. We have already shown Ancestry DNA Results videos for Vlad, me, my dad, Peyton, who's our daughter, our biological daughter with the dark hair. And in today's video, we're going to show my biological daughter, Yay. Vlad is not her biological father, and my maternal grandmother, Dorothy. So this is my lineage in today's video. The other thing I want to mention is I know that everyone has been wanting to see the results of our biological red hair daughter. Well, we're still working with her to provide a sample. She's having a problem with spitting in the tube, so hopefully we can get that sample soon. Okay guys, just like in the last video, go ahead and leave your comments here and take a guess at what you think our daughter Yay's ancestry is. Okay, so my daughter has given me access to view her DNA results as herself. So everything you're seeing on this screen is from her viewpoint. Okay, so all of the colored areas here represent all of the locations where my daughter Yay's ancestors descended from. And let's go ahead and go through the list, the ethnicity estimate, and just to let you know, I will also show you a comparison between my ethnicity estimates and my daughter's, as well as Yay's estimates and my grandmother's. Just to let you know, as an FYI, my mother has not yet taken the DNA test, but she does plan on doing so. And the grandmother I am showing in this video, she is my mother's mom. As I highlight each area, you will also see the colored area pop up there on the map. So we have Nigeria there at 28%, Cameroon at 18%, Scotland 13%, Mali 13%, Benin and Togo 11%, Ireland 4%, Senegal 3%, Norway 2%, which is interesting because as of yet, Norway had not shown up on any previous family members' reports. However, it did show up on my grandmother's report. So it's interesting that my daughter shows some ancestry from Norway and my grandmother shows it, but I do not. I do know that she could have inherited this from her father as well, and it could just be pure coincidence that my daughter and my grandmother show the same percentages from Norway. Then we have Ivory Coast and Ghana at 2%, Southern Bantu peoples at 2%, England and Northwestern Europe 1%, France 1%, Turkey and the Caucasus 1%. That's another area that has not shown up on our previous reports. However, again, this is something she could have inherited from her father. And lastly, we have here Portugal at 1%. And just to scroll down here, I will show you the different areas or additional communities my daughter is showing matches to. So we have the early Virginia African Americans, and that is something that is common for African American people to show this. I show it on my report, and my dad also shows it on his. Next, we have this area here, East Texas, Arkansas, and Louisiana, African Americans. No one on my side is from those areas. However, her paternal grandmother is from that area, so it makes perfect sense that her DNA matches to individuals in that area as well. My daughter also shows matches to the Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina African Americans, that community. Just to let you know, that is not something I show on my report. And just to give you an FYI as well, my family is not from Georgia. We do live here now, but we are not originally from Georgia. So I believe my daughter is matching this area on her dad's side. So basically, CMs or centimorgans measure how related individuals are to one another. So on this screen, you'll see that Ye and I share 3,489 CMs or 50% shared DNA, and that is consistent with a mother-daughter relationship. Whereas Ye shares with my grandmother 755 CMs because my grandmother is her great-grandmother, and that represents about 11% shared DNA. Also, as an FYI, I share 1,743 CMs with my grandmother, and that represents 25% shared DNA. So the higher the CMs are, the more related the individuals should be. Here I will share my ethnicity estimates compared to my daughter Ye's estimates. So I am listed on the left and my daughter is listed on the right. First here you'll see I have 26% Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples DNA, whereas my daughter shows 18%. I show 18% Nigerian DNA and my daughter shows 28%. This should indicate that her dad should have a large percentage of Nigerian ancestry as well. I show 18% from Mali and 13% is what my daughter shows. For Scotland, I show 12% and my daughter shows 13%. For Ireland, I show 10%, my daughter shows 4%. If I had to guess, I would say her dad probably has Scottish ancestry as well. For Benin and Togo, whereas I show 9%, my daughter shows 11%. And for Ivory Coast and Ghana, we both show 2%. For Senegal, I show 1%, my daughter shows 3%. We both show 1% for France and also 1% for England and Northwestern Europe. I show 1% from Spain and 1% Northern Africa, but my daughter does not show that. And you can't see this on the screen, but my daughter also shows 1% from Turkey and the Caucasus and 1% from Portugal. And you're not able to see that on this screen because I do not show that ancestry, and I was viewing the report from my viewpoint. Here is a comparison of my DNA results compared to my grandmother's ethnicity estimates. 28% Cameroon for me. I'm on the left, my grandmother's on the right. She shows 19%. For Mali is 18% and 21%. Nigeria is 18% and 35%. Scotland is 12% versus 2%. Ireland is 10% and 1%. Benin and Togo is 9% versus 10%. Ivory Coast and Ghana, we both show 2%. England and Northwestern Europe is 1% versus 3%. Senegal is 1 versus 4. Spain, I show 1%. My grandmother doesn't have anything there. Northern Africa, I show 1%, and my grandmother again shows nothing. And France, I have 1% ancestry from there, and my grandmother doesn't show anything. And then as far as Norway, I don't show anything. My grandmother shows 2%. And again, my daughter's results from earlier in the video, she also had 2% from Norway. And this is what I really wanted to show. This here, it says Indigenous Americas, and this would be my grandmother's Native American ancestry. It shows 1%. My DNA report does not show any Native American ancestry, but my grandmother does show 1%, and also one of her daughters and 2 of her granddaughters show 1% Native American ancestry as well. Here's a breakdown of some of my immediate family members who have taken the Ancestry DNA test, and this shows their general percentages. We have had lots of aunts and cousins, etc., who have also taken the test, but I'm only showing direct family members or those in my household on this slide. Here is my matrilineal line from my great-great-grandmother down to my oldest daughter. Some people have suggested that because I show 25% European ancestry, that must mean one of my grandparents is white. However, that's not the case for me. Actually, all 4 of my grandparents and all 8 of my great-grandparents were black. I have pictures of all of my grandparents and all but one of my great-grandparents, and I will show that in a future video. Keep in mind as well that the average black person in America has about 25% European ancestry, which is the same as I have. Thank you so much for watching. Were your guesses right? Leave a comment and let me know, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!